everyone, welcome back to the Herbal Bunny. Today I wanted to just talk. I wanted to talk about it's a God thing, it's our brain thing, and God's pharmacy thing. So, my first lady at my church, Dr. Lillian, hi! She was doing this series for a few weeks on Bible Study Wednesday. About Dr. Caroline Leaf's book. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a book that she had called Switching on Your Brain. And that's kind of one of the things that I want to talk about is that book. So the book talks about switching on your brain. We can think ourselves sick and how we can break habits, taking 28 days to break a habit, 28 more days to establish a new habit, and how if we are always anxious and always having negative thoughts and things like that, that it releases all the toxins into our body, and that's what stores up in our body if we don't eliminate them properly. Chemicals build up in our body and in our weak areas. So if you have a weak pancreas, you could get diabetes or cardiovascular, hypertension, cancers, tumors, things like that. If parents, they all have high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease. And so if you put in your mind and you're thinking, I'm going to have these things, I'm going to have diabetes, I'm going to be having a heart attack, I'll have cancer, then it's Hershey. Then you can think yourself sick. You know, you develop those hormones in those weak areas, and you can actually really do get the you'll actually get the diseases. So one of my other pastors in the past, he was talking about we are drawn to what we see. So if you're constantly thinking and have that visual in front of you that, oh my God, when I'm 40, I'm going to start developing diabetes. My grandfather had diabetes at 40, my mom had diabetes at 40. So if you keep picturing that in your mind, sorry. If you keep picturing that in your mind, then you're drawn to that and you're susceptible to actually getting that disease. Focus on things that you want to be and picture that in your mind and go toward that, and you will be healthier. And my parents actually would speak that into me. You know, you better be careful, you're gonna have diabetes, you better be careful, you're gonna have this. And so feeding that to me, I started believing it, I started thinking it. But then a few years ago when I had seen Dr. Caroline Leaf come to our church and she had spoke about this, it really switched on my brain. I'm like, okay, I don't have to accept this. I do not accept it. So I started focusing more on health. Wrote myself a love letter saying, you know, you're healthy. Even though I wasn't at the time, I just wrote it. I said, you will not have diabetes. I do not proclaim that. I do not accept that into my life. And I just read this to myself every day. So 28 days and then another 28 days to really set that in. I did blood tests and my numbers had gotten better. And my cholesterol was down. You know, the lady was like, wow, this is a significant difference. You know, what have you been doing? And really what I had done mostly was started praying and proclaiming that I will not have this happen to me. Just because my parents had it does not mean I have to be sick like they are. Also, I check my blood pressure, I monitor that if it's starting to go up. You know, before it was like 150 over like 92, and I'm like, okay, you know, the doctor's like, well, we're gonna have to put you on lisinopril. No, Tamitha's not going that route, and because those things weaken your body. Pharmaceutical medications weaken your body. So, and it doesn't fix the problem. It's like a Band-Aid over a stab wound, right? So I started monitoring that, and I started taking herbs for all these different parts of my body, but food was the main thing, and exercise, moving around more. Mostly a plant-based diet. I have sworn off meat in the Bible. And this is another thing I wanted to talk about in a later video, maybe break it down. You're like, are we vegetarian? Are we omnivores? Are we carnivores? What are we? And if you actually look in the Bible, before Noah's time, Noah lived like hundreds of years, like 900, 800 years old. And then after the fall, you could start seeing the people living like 200, 300, 100 years. And look at us today. Our average lifespan is what, like 75, 85, something like that. And that's huge from way back then, right? It's because, and the significant difference in there was they started eating meat. So prior to Noah, they lived off the land. They planted and they grew their food and they ate it, and they didn't have all the sickness and diseases, and there was the flood and and they didn't have anything growing, so God gave them permission to eat certain animals. But nowadays, all the hormones, all the antibiotics that they inject these poor cows with, and just watching the videos of these poor animals suffering while they kill them had deterred me from wanting to eat them. Watching documentaries on that. There's Forks Over Knives, there's Earthlings, that's the one that has all the killing and the baby cows screaming as they're being slit. So you want to make sure you eat a lot of plants, plant-based live foods. Saying go out, medium rare or rare steak is not considered live food. Lost my train of thought. Okay. I got this. I really do. Talking about, okay, you have all these toxins built up in your body in certain areas, and you prayed. God can miraculously heal you. I've been healed myself, and I've seen other people get healed. God is wonderful. However, if you do not change your circumstances that caused you to be sick in the first place, then you're going to continue to get sick, and you may not see the miraculous healing as you did in the beginning. For example, okay, I had to close my curtains because the dogs were barking at random things outside the window. Lung cancer, for example. You're a smoker, you don't eat healthy, you eat a lot of mucus-causing foods, you drink cow's milk, and you smoke all kinds of stuff, and you develop lung cancer. Okay, so you pray, God, please heal me of this. You've been anointed, you spoke in tongues, you had people pray over you, and you woke up and you could breathe. Whew. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've been miraculously healed. God has that power. If you continue to smoke and do the bad things that actually caused you to get the lung cancer, you get it again. God, you healed me once before. Please, please, please do this one more time. I will change. And you wake up and you're cured yet again from lung cancer. If you don't change your way of thinking and your lifestyle, you will continue to get these things, and God may not be so generous over time. Be like, okay, well, maybe we just need you to just, I mean, he already knows what's going to happen, but he's like, okay, well, maybe we need to take out a lung. Just have them take out a lung or something. But I know it's kind of a weird example, but you know, it's true. Okay, there's a story in the Bible. These guys are fishermen. I don't know where it's at. I'll have to research, and maybe I'll post it down below or post it on this video somewhere. Anyway, there's these guys on a fishing boat. They're out in the water, and for some reason, they can't get back to shore. So they're praying and praying and praying. God, you know, get us back to shore. Get us safely. Well, this boat came along. Hey, do you guys need help? No, no, no. God's coming to get us. Get away, get away, you know. So they go away, and then they're praying, praying, praying. God, God, help us, help us, help us. Here comes another boat. Nope, we don't need your help. God's coming to get us. Well, then at the end, it's like they're sinking or something happens, and they're like, God, why didn't you help us? And God's like, well, I sent you 3 boats. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. You know, whatever caused the issue in the first place, whether it's diet or thinking bad thoughts. You know, I'm going to have cancer, I'm going to have cancer, I'm going to have cancer. Then you develop cancer. See, I told you so. With our bodies, we need to detox. Not only just our thoughts, but we need to detox our bodies. And that's one of the reasons why I love God's Pharmacy. And pharmaceutical companies, they're great with emergency situations, and 90% of the time, my opinion, they are horrible because they don't actually fix what's wrong. The medication is just masking it, and you're still going to be sick of whatever. You know, that's why a lot of doctors are like, okay, you got to increase your blood pressure medication. You know, same way with diabetes. You know, you can't go and have diabetes and take your insulin and then go sit down and eat a whole cake. You know, this is one of the things I was irritated with my mom about. She would, she's like, well, I'm on my diabetes medication. I don't know why my sugar keeps going up. Because you ate half a pie, Mom. The generational curses is, you know, it's not like I put a curse on you forever. That's not what I believe. You know, I could be wrong, but I see, like, okay, you know, your dad cheated on your mom, and you put in your mind, all guys cheat, and you get with your husband, and are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me? Are you cheating on me? You know, and then they actually do. Well, told you. Yep, I was right. All guys cheat. And you tell your daughter that, yep, your father cheated on me, your grandfather cheated on my mom, did it, all guys cheat. And so you keep telling the child that. She's going to grow up, and she's going to either be drawn to guys that are cheaters, or she's going to do the same thing that you did by convincing herself that her husband is cheating, and either push him to it or they end up separating. And you just got to really be careful with your children. And then if you did grow up in a toxic environment, you know, there's a my bishop was talking about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, where it's traumatizing to the child, and you carry that on. So I think that's what generational curses are. You know, with the diabetes, you know, everybody in my mom's side of the family, everybody on my dad's side of the family, all had diabetes. And I think that's a generational curse, because if I continue to eat unhealthy or eat like they had me growing up eating, then yeah, I would have diabetes. But I'm proclaiming that I'm not going to. That doesn't mean that I won't later on, because it's something else maybe going on wrong in my body. So yeah, I really hope it made sense to everybody what I was talking about. Writing a love letter to yourself and proclaiming what you want to happen in your life, and praying about the things that happen or whatever you want God to change, and focus on positive thoughts, positive things in your life, detoxing your body, getting out all those poisonous toxins. God's Pharmacy is a great way of doing that. You can message me if you have questions about how you can proceed with that, or you can go up on YouTube and type it in. I'm sure 10,000 other YouTubers have ways of detoxing. Yeah, so I think Toxic Thinking was the book that the First Lady was talking about. Toxic Thinking, because that sounds about right. Anyway, alright, so you guys have a great day, and I just broke something. And anyway, so go ahead, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Alright, you guys have a great day. Share the video, comments, and yeah. Alright, you guys have a great day. Bye.